Welcome to the Focus Cast. On this episode, we're talking about staying motivated.
Oof, that's a good subject, bro. I mean, we're trying to get a lot of things done in life, right?
Yes.
So what's funny, talking about being motivated, when you're on the internet
Yep.
or on your phone, you see all kinds of crazy people. You see these Instagram accounts, and you're like, is any of this shit real? People
Yeah.
doing crazy things. They're like, I run 45 businesses. I run 200 miles a day. You know, I bench press semi trucks.
Yes.
You know, you're like, what is even going on here? You know, people's talking about hacking their mind. They're like, I take mushroom supplements. Is any of this even real? I mean, how do we stay motivated in the real world, not in the fantasy land?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, bro, hopefully, I was motivated enough to write some real notes, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about staying motivated, and if this, what we can do.
I don't know. I love that. And when we looked up some of the main challenges for solopreneurs, staying motivated was one of them. So I'm excited about this episode, and I think we should.
Let's dig in.
Let's do it.
Let's go. I'm Jonathan Noel.
And I'm Brian Noel.
This is the Focus Cast,
Where we drop focus guides for solopreneurs and side hustlers.
with a 6-figure goal.
So let's get focused as...
Boy.
So here's the problem.
Here's the problem with life. This is just a fact.
You know what? Hard work is
Hard.
hard.
It may seem like a stupid thing to say, but honestly,
No, it's true. Hard work is hard. So losing motivation and having to find... Oh, yes. Losing motivation and having to find
motivation.
it. Yes, finding motivation can be very difficult, especially if burnout is starting to kick in. So first, let's hit a definition of motivation.
yeah.
What does motivation even mean?
Yeah. You feel like you see it on these stupid signs, in these like corporate rooms, it's like motivation. They'll show like a lion or something or some dumb shit, But motivation, this is a state or condition of being motivated or having a strong reason to act or accomplish something.
Having a strong reason to act.
Or accomplish.
So the neuroscience of motivation, according to an article on Pubmed, all animals share motivation to obtain their most basic needs, including food, water, sex, and social interaction. Meeting these needs is a requirement for survival, but in all cases, the goals must be met in appropriate quantities and at appropriate times. Therefore, motivation drive must be modulated as a function of both internal states as well as external environmental conditions.
That makes sense, right? you need certain bursts of motivation. It's not like something that you can just have. Your body can't just do it 24/7.
Yeah, our body doesn't produce
Motivation.
the hormones and endorphins and dopamines required for us to stay motivated 100% of the time.
So you need mental and physical conditions and bursts of motivation to get shit done.
Yeah, and
Just while we were talking about like time blocking.
yes, because at our most basic needs, we want to eat, and most Americans eat.
Most Americans eat a lot.
Yeah.
They're very motivated to eat.
Yeah.
It might be their only motivation in life.
So outside of our most basic needs, we still are trying to find this motivation for, well, we talked about it in self-actualization in one episode.
So this is from the same article, the Pubmed. The regulation of motivated behaviors is achieved by the coordinated actions of molecules, peptides, hormones, neurotransmitters, etc., acting with specific circuits that integrate multiple signals in order for complex decisions to be made.
You mean like when we read an Instagram post, it's just like, today I'm motivated because I'm me. It's more complex than that.
I think it's a little more complex.
So the alignment of peptides, hormones, and neurotransmitters all coming together to integrate multiple signals into a complex decision so that we can meet our needs is
more
really
simple than just reading a quote on a piece of Hobby Lobby wood, a Hobby Lobby piece of wood that just says, some stupid quote that you put on your wall.
Oh my gosh, this is so great. So, in the solution to staying motivated, so we know that being motivated is beyond just the emotional. It's very physiological. A lot of things have to happen in our bodies. That's why we may mentally want to accomplish a goal, but physically we're just exhausted. We just
Yep.
want to quit or give up or eat chips. So, Solution Huberman Lab, episode number 39. End goals and rewards are great. However, because of the way dopamine relates to our perception of time, working hard at something just for the sake of reward can make hard work more challenging and less likely to start in the future. Okay, so this concept is absolutely insane. So, I need to say it again. Give us a
Basically-
summary, bro.
So when I was looking up, I was doing the notes, and I was looking at staying motivated, and you see all these things pop up. And I'm just like, man, this is kind of stupid, right? I mean, the internet's full of garbage.
Yeah.
It's full of great things too. But I wanted to take a little bit different approach. So Huberman Lab, he's like the new scientist that everyone loves. You know, move over Bill Nye if you're older. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, hit the curb. No one gives a shit. Andrew Huberman is the neuroscientist from Stanford. He's all over the internet now.
He's
but
the boss.
He's just dropping good shit
Yeah.
constantly. But this whole episode was about motivation, more or less, and how the dopamine system works in tandem you know,
Yeah.
with your motivation. So dopamine is more than just feel good. It
Yes.
also helps you want to accomplish things. So end goals
so
and
good.
end goals and rewards are great.
However.
However, it's the way the dopamine system works with your perception of time, working hard at something just for the reward, for the end result, okay, makes what you're doing more challenging.
Yeah.
Because you're only focusing on what's at the end.
So, a perfect example of this is if you convince yourself that every time you work out, you deserve a donut, you may end up not working out and just eating the donut.
The whole time you're working out, the whole time you're doing anything difficult, you're only focusing on the end. And that actually, in the moment, makes it harder the entire time you're doing it.
Which we've all heard the quote, love the journey, not the destination. And this is the science behind why that quote, that Instagram quote, is actually
Yep.
true.
So
Okay.
this was
That's good. I love it. Oh my
this was
gosh.
also an experiment. This was an experiment done at Stanford, actually. This is pretty cool, bro. So they took a bunch of children, okay, in kindergarten and whatever that thing is before, nursery school. And
Pre-K.
they selected kids who like to draw on their own. They
Okay.
found enjoyment in drawing,
Yeah.
just for fun, doodling and stuff, okay? So then the researchers took the kids who like to draw, okay, on their own, and began to give them rewards, like gold stars or whatever it was that a kid might enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened?
Then they stopped giving them the reward, and the children had a much lower tendency to draw on their own, even though they enjoyed it without anyone telling them to do it before the rewards. That is mind-blowing.
So the researchers actually tapped into the dopamine reward system of these kids.
They hacked it, and they fucked it up.
Yeah, I guess so. Hopefully not forever, but these kids enjoyed drawing before. Okay.
Yeah.
And then once the reward was involved at the end, and then they quit giving them the reward, they didn't draw anymore because it changed in their minds to where it was only about the star.
Wow.
So now without the star, you don't have the motivation to draw. But
That is
that applies
insane.
to everything in life.
And considering we pass out rewards for everything,
Participation trophies.
we're essentially training generations that the work is meaningless, and all you should want is the reward.
That's why people who, people just want the end result.
Yeah.
You want to be a rock star, but you don't want to practice playing guitar, 10 hours a day for 15 years.
Yeah, you don't actually like guitar. You just like
You want to be
being
famous
a
on
rock
stage.
star.
Yeah.
The reward of being famous.
But the rock stars,
oh man.
to operate at a certain level, to reach the upper echelon at anything in life, it's not, you didn't get there because you wanted to be at the top. You got there because you enjoyed doing the work.
Yeah.
That's just that simple. You know, how do you become amazing at anything if you don't give a shit about actually doing it?
Well, it goes back to what we've said in other episodes, right? Like when we talked about the Pomodoro effect. Our goal as solopreneurs and side hustlers oftentimes are to create an environment of increased freedom. But even if you're having to work really hard, every 25 minutes, you have 5 minutes of freedom. You have a 5-minute walk. You're free to take that walk. You have 5 minutes to call a friend. You have the freedom to call that friend. But yet, if we're so focused on this idea of being a successful solopreneur, whatever the fuck that means in your head,
It makes it harder.
that you just absolutely hate the process, you most likely will not be a successful solopreneur.
It's the same thing with the kids with the gold star, right?
Yeah.
If you're only focused on the gold star, you're only focused on being wealthy, having the house or the car or some dumb shit,
Yeah.
whatever you want, you know, or the end result, it makes the grind, the hustle, all the stupid things in the middle that you have to do horrible.
Yeah.
It makes the whole process almost unbearable.
Yeah. I think
See-
that's why, like, out of the physical things that we do that are difficult, mountain biking, I love the trail. I love riding the bike. I love being outside. The thing itself, I absolutely, there is no reward. Like you get
The
to the car and
reward
you're
is
sweaty
the
and
action.
dirty. Like, yeah, that we don't get back to the car and there's like a group of people clapping because
No.
we finished the ride.
That's never happened.
Right? Like it's the thing itself. Gosh. Okay. So here's the next layer deeper: intrinsic versus extrinsic reinforcement.
This is from the same
Huberman
Huberman Lab
Lab.
episode.
Mm.
When we receive rewards or give ourselves rewards, we tend to associate less pleasure from the activity that evoked it. So this is pretty much
Yeah.
what we were talking about.
Yeah. So when you only focus on the end reward for effort, you actually make it more painful and you're less efficient. Dopamine makes effort easier and gives you energy. So the dopamine itself makes it more fun, makes it more pleasurable, gives you more energy. But if you position yourself and train your body to only release the dopamine for the end result, then you're reducing efficiency in the thing itself.
That's pretty much exactly what he talks about in this episode. Is dopamine is more than just like feel good. Like take
Yeah.
Molly and, you know, have a bunch. Oh, that's actually serotonin, but never mind. But dopamine is more than just your feel good molecule. It's related to motivation. And that's iterated many times in this episode. And I think anyone, if you love the actual science, you get pretty nerdy about it, definitely listen to this.
Yeah.
Huberman Lab, episode 39. Because it really makes you understand a lot about just how your brain works with dopamine and your relationship with it.
Yeah, so it's like if we're a solopreneur, a side hustler, like have we found the thing that we truly enjoy doing?
I think there's that aspect, but it's finding joy in the process no matter what.
Yeah. Like
I mean,
I love this moment right here. The podcast,
yeah.
talking, sharing information, all that kind of stuff. Now, editing, you know, all the things are associated with this
Oh my
one
gosh.
moment.
Social media,
Yeah.
editing.
But right
making
now,
clips.
it's like the reward for us is like, it's not like we get paid to do this.
No.
It's not like we have sponsors. It's not like we even get free stuff yet. Like there is the only reward is the fact that we enjoy as brothers bantering
Yeah.
about these subjects.
Bullshitting and talking and just trying to
Yeah.
whatever.
So
learn.
as long as we protect that environment, then we're good.
Yeah.
Unless we never make any money.
Then we have to stop.
We have to go get jobs. Anyway, okay, cool. So let's keep going.
Yeah, so we mentioned the dopamine. It makes effort easier. Here's the thing with dopamine. If you get a peak in dopamine from a reward, so here's the problem as well. It's going to lower your baseline levels, okay? And this actually is detrimental to your motivation overall. Not only that, but essentially wires your brain to dislike the activity more and only associate effort with rewards.
So
That is a problem.
So if we don't accomplish much, like, but we reward ourselves very high. So let's say
Exactly.
if I work
You
out
can't throw a
for
party for every little thing.
yeah, or like food, right? Because that's something that everyone is trying to figure out. So
Yeah.
if you exercise for 10 minutes, which really is yoga, which 7 minutes is you laying on the floor. And then after that, you're like, I did that. So then you go smash a triple cheese bacon burger. Then the dopamine rush comes from the triple cheese bacon burger, not at all the 6 minutes of exercise you did.
Yeah.
And so then the next time you exercise, like it's not balancing out. Versus don't even reward yourself. Just go do the workout.
Yeah. The wrap up
Because you'll get dopamine from that workout.
Oh, for sure.
But you're offsetting the baseline dopamine from that simple workout versus if you don't reward
If you
yourself
spike
at
it.
all
Yeah.
and you get a little bit of dopamine from the workout and you're
That's
like,
what you want.
oh, I like that. So you do it again and again and again and again. And before you know it, the reward is the workout.
So exactly.
Wow.
The
Okay.
wrap up of this intrinsic versus extrinsic reinforcement is not to spike your dopamine immediately before or after intense effort. If you drink 4 energy drinks before you work out every time, okay, it's a huge spike in dopamine,
Yeah.
okay, from the caffeine and the sugar. You're training your body to basically be dependent on that.
Yeah.
So then it's like the workout isn't doing what it's supposed to do. It's not releasing those same endorphins
Wow.
because you're getting the big spike before. Same thing after.
Yeah.
You want to limit these spikes in dopamine, loud music, like intense things, like super intense foods, caffeine, sugars, before or after effort, because then you're making effort more difficult. Because
Wow.
then you're associating your effort with a reward.
That is amazing.
So that's the wrap up, which it makes sense.
That is so good.
You have to find joy or whatever it is in the effort itself.
Yeah. So, like, for a very specific example, as a solopreneur, if you're selling a service and you're selling your service and you call 100 people and then one person buys, well, you're going to have a spike in dopamine
No doubt. It's
because
exciting.
that person buys. But then the next time you call 100 people, what if
Nothing
one buys?
happens.
And then you're like, this
Well,
is terrible.
The thing is, what if you throw yourself a party?
Yeah,
for
that's
that
true.
For that once.
Oh, no. Okay, you're right. That's a better example. So you call 100 people, one person buys, you just earn $10,000 in revenue, but you spend $20,000 on a party,
That's a serious party.
right? Or you buy new equipment or whatever, right? So again, versus just saying, like literally in that moment, the reason someone bought is because I called 100 people. And I'm excited that I called 100 people. So I'm going to
Yep.
call 100 more people tomorrow. So
Exactly.
you're like literally like cock blocking the inappropriate dopamine release.
100%. You're absolutely right.
And if you're a woman, you would what? What's the
Clit blocking?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if we're keeping that one in there.
Yeah,
But
but anyway, so mentally, man or woman, when you're working really hard and something happens to where you release that dopamine, you got to in that moment remind your brain, force your brain to remember that it's the effort that caused that
Right,
dopamine,
it's
and
the-
tell your brain if you want more of that, you got to do more of this effort.
right, it's the party didn't, rewarding yourself at the end didn't get you the sale.
Yeah.
The grind of calling 100 people did.
Oh my gosh.
So this all comes down more or less to growth mindset.
Yeah.
So growth mindset, let's kick it off, bro.
Always striving to be better. Striving itself becomes the end goal, not rewards, financial compensation, material things. So again, as we strive to be better, let's strive in our efforts to be better, not in the results of the effort.
Right. If your goal is to just keep being better, it's almost like a compounding effect.
Yeah.
Like, because if your goal is only monetary,
Yeah.
a house, a car, what happens when you buy it? You get the huge spike, you made it, yada yada, and then what at the end? You probably feel like shit.
Yeah.
You're depressed. You're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
You know, how do you go to the next level?
Wow.
You know, the growth mindset is It's not about what you're buying, what you're getting. None of that really even matters.
Yeah.
It's about being better.
Yeah. Gosh. That's good, bro.
So this makes you focus, the growth mindset. This makes you focus on the effort itself. You must learn to access the reward from the effort. Basically, this whole thing is,
Warren Buffett
like-
is like the quintessential example of this truth.
yeah, I didn't want to read a bunch of freaking BS articles and like just nonsense about like you gotta find yourself and you gotta, and that there's a place for things like that.
Yeah.
For staying motivated. Obviously, you got to find some things you at least care about.
Yeah. Focus on the effort.
Focus on the effort.
Yeah, like Warren Buffett is an example, right? Like same house he's had for decades, same car. I mean, he has the same routine, but he absolutely loves reading about leadership teams to determine where he should invest his money. He loves it. And he's talked about it his whole life. He's loved doing that.
Yeah, he's one of those old guys who still lives like a poor person.
Yeah, and we're like, oh my gosh, I want to be as rich as Warren Buffett. It's like, well, you're probably not going to get there if all you want is the result. So the next bullet is you have to tell yourself the effort is great and pleasurable even if it sucks. You got to, like, the mind can be tricked. Our mind is tricked every day.
Mm-hmm.
The brain is inside a skull. It doesn't even see the outside world. The brain interprets what we give it.
Yep.
So we can trick it.
Pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is straight from the podcast. This is not some voodoo hocus pocus. This is real. So over time, you can actually evoke a dopamine release from the effort itself, from the friction of the hard work, if you start doing this growth mindset thing.
Yeah.
So pretty wild, actually, right?
I need to convince myself that I love editing down all these episodes.
Yeah, me too. I need to convince myself that I love posting about our band on TikTok.
So over time, you can evoke dopamine release from this hard work or this friction. You eliminate the ability to create this growth mindset brain circuits of finding pleasure from work if you only focus on the reward at the end. So literally, you eliminate the brain's ability to release dopamine in the effort itself if you only focus on the reward. You are training your brain, the physical chemical reaction of dopamine released in your brain. You will change that. You will alter the way your brain functions, which is wild, by emotionally only and mentally only focusing on the reward.
You summed it up right there perfectly.
Shit.
That's the growth mindset, and that's why we have to be careful about how we treat all this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. More or less, you kind of have to lie to yourself until it starts happening. Like
Yeah.
all these guys that you see, like David Goggins, if anyone follows him, he's the guy who has like destroyed knees, problems with his legs, but still does like 200-mile, races
Yeah.
through the desert. He's
That's
just one of those
wild.
guys who literally just doesn't give a single, and this is what he does. He's getting the reward from the effort.
Yeah, his brain's like,
there's
your
no-
knee hurts. And he's like, no, it doesn't.
Because, I mean, if the reward is pissing blood and feeling like you're going to die from running a 200-mile race and like shitting on yourself, that's not really a reward. He gets the reward from the effort.
Yeah.
So all these people who are operating on that really high level, like the Joe Rogans, I guess.
Yeah.
They've
retrained their brains.
The most successful podcast, doing multiple things all the time.
Mhm.
Even like Andrew Huberman.
Yeah.
These people are constantly pushing themselves, working hard.
Yeah.
Who's that Navy SEAL? Jocko? He's famous too.
Yeah.
That they're finding they're getting the dopamine from the effort itself.
Yeah, one of these guys, I heard him say, we've been taking cold showers, right? Cold plunges. And I heard him say, this was fascinating. He said, I don't talk about how cold it is. I don't scream out loud, this is cold. He's like, I force a smile on my face and I get in the ice water.
Yeah.
And he's like, I do not allow myself to think about how terrible it is. I just sit there and say, this is great. And he's like, it's his way of training his brain that he is in control of it.
So the effort is the reward.
Yeah. Guess
So-
that means we're going to keep making episodes and keep editing episodes, bro, because the effort's the reward.
The effort is the reward. And,
Gary Vee talks about that too.
and I mean, if you want to get technical, the fact that we even have the ability, right? We live in a country and a time period in the world
Yeah.
where
that's a good point.
we're not being drafted into a war we don't give a shit about. Where
Yeah.
we're not in a country with civil unrest. The fact that we have the ability to do this is kind of the reward too, right?
Yeah, man.
The fact that we have the opportunity to hustle, grind, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
because there's people who don't even have the chance to do all this shit.
They have to work 80 hours a week.
There's people who work in mines for like $2 a day,
Yeah.
sulfur mines.
Yep. Just so we can all have our iPhones
Yeah. So
while we're hustling on our iPhones. While we're bitching about the hustle on our iPhones, there's people who are forced to work their entire day in the mine
for
to get
for
the
less than what you
materials.
spent at Starbucks this morning
Yeah.
per day.
Wow, man, talk about a good old fashioned shame perspective. It's true though. Like,
So have a smile on your face that you even get that you have the opportunity to do this shit.
yeah, it's good, bro. Mm.
So anyway,
Stay
yeah,
motivated.
the
Hey,
eff-
are you
the-
motivated?
The effort is the reward.
The effort is the reward. The effort is the reward. Okay, hold on. Last bullet here. This is good. I'm thinking about this in the context of our relationship and our spouses.
Okay, I don't have one, but let's go.
You have friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you said relationships and
Yeah.
spouses. Gotcha.
So again, like as we motivate and become really good friends, talking to our friends and like, like, hey, nice car,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Versus like, what'd you do this week? If you're a real estate agent, man, I had 40 listings. It was crazy. It's like, man, good job doing all that work. You crush it. You're a motivating person watching you do that effort. So not only can we convince ourselves to reward our effort, we can also start by paying attention to other people's efforts and congratulating them on that effort.
Most definitely.
Ah, that's good.
People work hard, man.
They do,
And they might hide it. They might hide it really well.
but they work hard.
Because if it's the kind of person who just gets it done and doesn't say shit,
Yeah.
you might have no idea how hard they're working.
I got a pro move for every spouse out there.
All right. Pro move.
When you get home today, tell your spouse, thank you for working so hard and your contribution to this family. I see you and I appreciate you.
That's married level. That's married advice right there.
That's right. I see you and I hear you and I thank you for your effort. What if you went up to your boss tomorrow? If you have a good boss. If you have a shitty boss, don't do this. But if you literally have a good boss, a boss that cares about you,
Yeah, thinks about you.
yeah, wants to see you beyond the job itself, wants to see you be a successful human being. And you go to that boss and you just say, I just want to thank you for the effort you put in training and leading me and our team.
That's going to motivate the shit out of them.
Oh my
If
God.
that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what the fuck will.
So in our effort to motivate ourselves, maybe we can start by genuinely motivating other people.
Wow. Now that's staying motivated. Hey, that's a Focus Cast win right
That's
there.
a Focus Cast. That's a Focus Cast tip right there.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. I think I
wrapped
got
on.
nothing else to say.
I think I'm done here.
Let's go.
My brain's melted.
Thank you for listening to the Focus Cast. Go to youtube.com/thefocuscast and slap that subscribe button. Head to thefocuscast.com to share what you want to hear next. Go forth and be focused as boy.